Hey folks, it's David back again with another video. Welcome back to Verse by Shade. Got some beautiful trucking weather today. It's the 5th of December, and I'm heading back down south from West Virginia. It was freezing my butt off Tuesday night. If I didn't have this APU unit going, it wouldn't have been good. It would not have been good at all. Very cold. Anyways, I've seen the news about Donald Trump's pick for FBI director to hopefully, Lord willing, replace Mr. Christopher Wray, who has been horrible. And this is another one of those videos, like a follow-on from the last one I made about this subject. Daring to hope. That's where I'm at right now. Daring to hope. What can I say about it? Except I think it is at least some good news. Well, you know what? Let's, just for the sake of some context and why I think the way I do, let's do some history. Let's go down memory lane for just a minute. This is just in my memory, just a recent event from when Donald Trump was elected in 2016 onward. So much, not all, but we'll say 80%, 90% of the efforts to derail Donald Trump, newly elected in 2016, came out of the FBI. People who were in the employ of the FBI. From Peter Strzok, or Peter Strzok, whichever way you want to say it, to James Comey, the FBI director at the time, Andrew McCabe. I forget if he was the acting deputy director. There's also the other guy whose name I can't remember sometimes, but they were all FBI affiliated. Of course, Mr. Brennan, John Brennan, he's a CIA man, but so much of what was done to Donald Trump, and by extension to all of us who voted for the man back in 2016, came out of the FBI. And now, I hate to sound like I'm anti-law enforcement. That's the last thing that I want to put out there. But this organization of quote-unquote cops has always struck me as being corrupt. As just like a Praetorian Guard, if you will, for whichever cabal in the government, be they leftward or rightward Lincoln in their politics, could use the apparatus of the FBI toward their own ends. And that's at best. At worst, it's its own entity that just does whatever the world it wants. And during the Trump years, especially, at least in my life, you can read historically about rogue FBI behavior and all that, but just from what I remember of the Trump years, very recent history, it seemed like they were completely out of control. No accountability. They're supposed to be like the federal cops. I don't read about them anywhere in the United States Constitution because they're not in there. The agency was said to have been created, quote unquote, out of necessity. Well, whatever necessity might have existed decades and decades ago, all it is now is just a lot of crooks, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what these guys even do, apart from trying to lock up constitutionally minded U.S. citizens. I mean, they have been so horrible. And what they did to Trump, and again, I'm trying not to make it a habit to defend Donald Trump. He can defend himself. stress this over and over again every time I talk about this in a video. Something that was done to him. It was done to him. Not as a result of anything that he did. It was something that was done to him. An assault on his character with accusations using the media. And I'll never forget. So many people have forgotten this. I want to somehow repopularize it. Maybe y'all can comment in the comment section about the best way to do that. The way that the FBI originally got the special counsel, Robert Mueller, that 2-year-long investigation, a whole bunch of garbage, with Robert Mueller himself admitting inadvertently or indicating he knew the whole thing was just a witch hunt. There was nothing to it, and yet they still collected millions of American dollars, taxpayer money, investigating Trump those 2 years, the first 2 years of his presidency, which essentially crippled it when you have the entire media apparatus saying the same thing day in and day out. The noose is tightening, referring to Donald Trump. The walls are closing in. Those were two expressions. I hope somebody's done like a study, a scientific study, of how many times the freakazoids, talking heads in the mainstream media said either one of those two lines or something similar to it, all in the context, whenever they were saying it, of Donald Trump and him being investigated. For what? We don't know. There was no predicate crime. It was just suspicion. It was just accusation. They literally used accusation and hearsay, and then what came out to be proven to be a pack of made-up lies in the form of the Steele dossier to start that investigation, which again essentially crippled or kneecapped Donald Trump's presidency for those first 2 years, 2016 and 2018. And then when it was all over with, he comes out there, his old, asymmetrical, ancient self, Robert Mueller, a former crooked FBI guy, no doubt, in his own right. We have it. It's like that. What did that double talk? I got to go back and read what he said. Big press conference. People are studying his every movement of his body language, as well as what he's saying. We've concluded. The investigation is over, nothing to see here, but we still haven't cleared Donald Trump, is essentially what he said. Come to find out, not that it was ever actually broadcast, because he was almost like a private citizen at that point. The special counsel investigation is basically the last thing that Robert Mueller has done in any kind of professional capacity, governmental capacity, whatever. That he was almost as demented as Joe Biden was early on. I kid you not. That's something that was whispered in the interwebs. And so, yeah, liars, fakes, frauds, phonies, freaks, adulterers in the form of Peter Strzok looking like a straight demon, squirming in his seat that time before that hearing, whatever it was. That guy Gomer had to at least get one over on him, rhetorically. But I'll never forget that. That was the greatest moment in American history when he said, and as you sit there with your little smirk on your face, I can't help but think, how many times did you lie to your wife like this? And then everybody's in an uproar when he starts getting personal or whatever, like who gives a care? That guy Strzok was a slime ball, probably is. And now it looks like maybe, possibly, Trump might actually have the intention to actually sheriff up the place a little bit, which would certainly be nice. Always in the back of my mind is always this nagging thought that says they're still trying to fix something that shouldn't even exist in the first place. But in this imperfect world, I guess we got to take what we can get. Hopefully Kash Patel, who, from everything I've read of the man, he's a pretty straight shooter. It was involved in, well, not really involved in Spygate, Russiagate, Obamagate, in the liars and usurper side of it, but just the opposite. He was in the side of, if not truth, justice, and the American way. Like, hey, what you're doing here is wrong. This is not the way we do things, kind of a thing. Anyways, I can always hope, if I let myself hope, that things will at least be different for a while. But I still don't hold out any hope that any of those people I mentioned a minute ago are going to be prosecuted for lying to Congress and all the rest of us and hijacking the government, which is essentially what they did. Anyways, that's all I got for now. Thanks so much for listening to me rant, people, because I know that's what this turned into. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.
This is my
Mr.
time,
Chairman, I'm sorry.
and it needs to be paused.
This point of order.
No,
The gentleman will state his point of order.
A member of this committee just asserted that this witness, who is under oath and a former agent of the FBI, lied. There is no evidence that. I ask him to withdraw it.
I do not withdraw it. He is not a member of Congress. It's not a violation of the rule. And just as you have been expressing bias through your members about what a hero
There is not a single person on this committee who has ever characterized a witness
Gentleman
as
from
lying.
Rhode Island,
Sitting here
gentleman-
appearing
It's
before
my
this committee.
time.
That's a disgrace.
Gentleman from Rhode Island will
praise
suspend.
him. No, the disgrace
Mr.
is what this man has done.
The
to
gentleman
our
from
justice
Texas will
system.
suspend for a moment.
There is the disgrace. And it won't be recaptured anytime soon because of the damage you've done to the justice system. And I've talked to FBI agents around the country. You've embarrassed them. You've embarrassed yourself. And I can't help but wonder, when I see you looking there with a little smirk, how many times did you look so innocent into your wife's eye and lie to her about Lisa?
Mr. Chairman, this is outrageous.
The credibility of a witness
Shame
is
on you,
always
Mr.
an
Chairman.
issue.
Mr.
and you
Chairman, please, there's
have
nothing
Mr. Chairman, this is intolerable harassment of the
What is
witness.
wrong with that? You need your medication.
The gentleman controls the time.